Very good. This one needs a motor.
Oh, nice.
This is the one me and Aaron were talking about earlier. Did the TSB update. Oil consumption did not stop. It's 4 quarts low on oil in 5,000 miles.
Oof.
Yeah, the motors. There's oil on the pistons, oil on the valves. There's oil all over inside the cylinder.
So it looks like we're getting a lawn block then.
Well, I would think so, but my coworker was like, "You better smart cost cap that just to cover your backside." And I was like,
warranty will be.
I got that written down. Nathan, what is up, brother? You're late. I know. Pre-game.
We talk a little bit. We get carried away before we start.
Pre-game. We always get carried away in the pre-game and start talking and BSing and like, oh, hold on, let me go record. And then I'm 5 minutes. It's all good though. What is up, everybody? Chris, Lewis, Himinimini, Brandon, Zeekster, Skidoo, Cody. He's here somewhere. Wesley, P-Mac. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. The title says it. You guys got Powerstroke problems. Bring it. I'm not going to say it again. You guys got your problems. We want your problems. We got your problems. We got your back. Ford Boss Me's got some interesting vehicles here at the shop that we're going to maybe, possibly go over. Check out a particular interesting one he's been working on today in an F-150. Brian, BP, what up, baby? Got some stuff we're going to talk about. I got them written down. A big thing going down here in southeastern Michigan right now is the roads. Oh my God, they are horrible.
Don't even ask about Marquette. Like, I think they got 22 inches of snow yesterday.
Oof.
Yeah.
There's a big pothole in Telegraph that keeps tearing up my truck.
Yeah. Negative 30 below here this morning. Holy Toledo. What up, Freddie?
It's 24 by me.
Eli. Eli's
it is
in the
a
house.
balmy 76 here.
Oh, Eli's coming on?
Eli is in the comments. Ford Asset Tech. There he is.
Hey, tell Eli Al says hi.
Oh, he can hear you.
He can hear you.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're live.
Let's see.
22 inches of sunshine. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Vince. Yeah. 75. George, you turd, you. Yeah, it is currently. What is it right now? Right now. 22. 22 is cold. Something that we're constantly battling. I really hate to talk about politics, and this is not a politics channel, but our leader here in this state made it very, very clear that she was going to fix our roads, and our roads, oh my, like they are bad, so bad, like bad. I need to make a video about how bad they are because they are horrible. 4-lane road. Nobody drives in the right-hand lanes. You can see nobody driving the right-hand lanes. Nobody. Bad. I haven't seen any carnage come in yet with the trucks, but I've seen a lot of cars come in. Busted Fusion. I seen the wheel hanging off of that. I was down the street having to grab some parts, and you see a car. It's not sitting on all fours, it's sitting, like this, come around the side. And
you guys got toll roads?
Huh?
You guys got toll roads?
No.
Oh, in Michigan?
No. Heck no. You kidding me?
What I don't understand is they talk about all these toll roads and stuff here. These highways were supposed to be paid off 15 years ago. Why are we still paying tolls on them?
Wow.
Ours are just like yours. They're terrible. They're trash.
I grew up in, that was the same way for me when I grew up in Illinois. It was the same way. They had toll roads and 294 and everything. They never fixed anything. No.
Yeah.
Well, these weather patterns are horrible for roads. It's like freeze, thaw.
Oh yeah.
It's just it's just a bad situation.
And then
What
you
they
got all
say,
those
like
cars
the
going over them.
DS, isn't it like the water and stuff gets underneath the asphalt and it freezes, then it pops, it freezes, it pops, it freezes, it pops over and over again?
Yeah, it does that on the surface for sure.
Yeah.
It gets in the surface and breaks up and starts the weathering process. But at the same time, normally there's like a frost law. I think it's like in March, where the weather changes and they want certain heavy trucks off of certain roads until the weather is fully thawed out. But our most recent weather patterns are just
All over
it
the place.
freezes and then it gets all the way above freezing again. It's like 40, 50 degrees and then it goes back down and it's just brutal on the roads. I know our governor, she ran on that whole campaign, let's fix the roads. It was kind of like an impossible promise because it's going to happen so fast. Our roads will never all be fixed all at the same time.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's horrible.
You know
Yeah.
what though? I try to avoid potholes, but like Aaron said, he hasn't seen any trucks come in yet. The trucks can take a little bit more than the cars, so I avoid them when I can, but I don't worry too much about it.
Dave and Chuck the Freak brag about how bad the roads are in the Detroit. Yeah, they're bad. What
Roads are
let me-
beautiful down here.
Yeah, I will second that 100. I believe I hadn't hit one. I think I hit a manhole cover, and that was probably the most that I got. The harshness that I got while visiting.
Yeah,
You see that?
the little reflectors
this?
on the road.
They make $800,000 a day on average in tolls, and it increases. And they can't fix the roads.
That's
No, yeah.
ridiculous.
Wasn't Illinois about to be bankrupt anyways?
They
I
probably
don't know,
have
something like that.
Wayne R asks, how long does it take to replace the high pressure fuel pump on a 6.7 diesel?
Are you doing just the pump or are you doing a full system? Is the real
Yeah,
question.
I mean, are you a shoemaker or do you know your way around a vehicle? Because that's ultimately gonna defer whether it's gonna take you a couple of days or a couple of hours. So
I got one down here.
you what?
I got a 6.0 down here.
A 6.0 or a 6.7?
Ooh, six.
There's
That's
6.4 and there's a 6.0. Oh, hello, pretty girl.
I'll take that.
Let me mute this.
I'll take that one.
It's a good looking truck.
Looks like we got the
Yeah.
ICP sensor out. Maybe we got valve cover just slopped up on there or something. Dude's
So
got the
when you
tools-
do-
oh yeah, he's got standpipe out or the dummy plug. Yeah, he's got standpipe out. Maybe just put the cover on for the night.
When you do an S&S filter, how much more to change the high pressure pump? Are you kind of right there? Is there more components that have to come off?
You're almost there. You got to take off the belt and stuff because you got to take the vacuum pump off to get to the nut that holds the pump on, the gear on the pump.
So you could probably do it in like an hour, hour and a half.
I
Have
mean,
that off,
I could probably do that.
and that would probably take me 3 days.
Yeah, I could see that. What up? I am a shoemaker. Tow trucks wait for cars to get it. Yeah, you can literally make a living on that. Can you make it to where my 22 F350 will operate on cruise control at around 3 miles an hour? Would be great for traveling through very rough fields. Nah, buddy, sorry.
Is there something with I know the Raptors have that mode, like a trail mode, like a creep mode. I don't know if like trimmers or any off-road packages have that.
Could take a look at BTS and see.
Are front brake pads readily available for recall 21C31? Well, I don't know what 21C31 is.
Just don't get brake pads from AutoZone.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I've talked about it before. Super Duties have two different kinds of pads, especially if you got 450, 550. You can get a higher level pad as a replacement. They are actually marked on the box Super Duty and they're blue. But DS just did some brakes on a 250, 350. And he wound up getting them from AutoZone and had to grind the edges of the pads down to basically what even fit in there against the caliper and in the slides.
Yeah,
on the bracket.
Yeah, it wouldn't fit. Not
Man.
nicely. I mean, you could. I think
So 21C31 is for Bronco Sport and Escape 1.5s.
Alan Cody, I have an interview with Kim March 4th. Ooh, congratulations.
With Kimberly? Oh, is that Eli?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, good luck,
Hey,
Eli.
hey.
Hopefully
Can we
you
bring up
become part of the
What
family.
issues we are currently
I
going
hope
through?
so.
Sorry. Yeah, Sam Mitchell, you got something you want to ask, or you got a problem that you've been trying to tackle or something? Yeah, man, drop it through. Everybody.
so. What's the deal with these upgraded pads?
They're all the ambulances. I got a couple of departments that I've done brake jobs on and have used the higher level brake pad. They are like they are literally blue. Like they are a blue brake pad, and it looks like the Ford box, but it says Super Duty on it. Like not the name of the truck, just Super Duty brake pads. And
Interesting.
they're not badly priced whatsoever, and the guys say that they really like the stopping quality, and
Those are all I use on. Those are all I use on Super Duty 250 and up. I don't even care. I put them on them.
So my 450 is still going to have the same pads as a normal 250. I would imagine.
no,
wouldn't
you'd have the big boy pads.
Would I have the blue ones factory?
No.
I don't know.
No, you would not. No, this is a next level.
So I would
pad
have
that
to
you
get
can
those after.
Correct.
Kind of like the Canadian snow package with that whole filter setup, like on those Canadian trucks.
Air filter.
I'm not gonna say nothing about that filter. That it's a joke.
So this one had cylinder contribution issues, and he had to go through and he bought this thing for like $6,000 as a trade-in, and two of the injectors had to be replaced. So he replaced two injectors, and it's been running great for months on this 6.0. And then the other day he said, I went to go make a turn, nice and hot, went to go roll into it, 3,000 RPM, all of a sudden, blah, blah, right on his face and just died, wouldn't start. It's not trying to fire, nothing at all. It's got two brand new batteries in it. And Fred came by the other night. We were all talking and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
Freddie.
We put an IPR because they were like, I don't know. I mean, it looks old, never been changed. Put an IPR in it. They put an IPR in it. It didn't do anything. And today they were just kind of shot in the dark. It was everybody wanted to go home, and he actually pressurized IPC or ICP and took a bore scope with a valve cover out and stuck it down around the injectors and actually looked, and it's literally bubbling out of the bottom of the injector.
Wow. So we got a high pressure oil leak right at the injector. Probably got an O-ring or something out.
Yeah, it's just you can just see the air just pumping out around the injector. And I was like, well, there's your oil leak. That's why it won't start. So that's the next order of business here. But overall, damn thing runs pretty damn good.
There you go.
So-
Other than that,
So you said he had to get two injectors right off the bat when he got it.
I think he drove it for a few months, and he noticed that every once in a while on the highway while cruising at like 70 mile an hour, it almost like a little misfire from time to time. And then he said one day it just kind of broke down on him, pulled over to the side of the road, waited about 30 minutes, fired the truck back up, and it ran beautiful. Then he gets it to the dealership. They're looking at cylinder contribution or whatever they were doing, and it came up with 2 injectors were not up to par. They just were. They were not. The contribution wasn't as good, so he replaced the 2 injectors that showed that they were faulty. It's been running great since then. No issues, no nothing at all. And then the issue the other day, where a couple of days ago, where it just literally fell on his face at about 3,000 RPM, just would not restart.
Oh wow.
Is it a good idea just to do them all at this point, or just keep doing the one?
Well,
He's young and he really wanted a diesel truck, and he likes the 6.0s, and this one's already been studded. So he's like, I'm just, as it fails or whatever, I don't have a ton of money, but I do have enough money to replace the things that are faulty at the time.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, my mentor, he actually just had an excursion he worked on. His name's Chad Bowser. He also works here at the hotline. And prior to that, he was a 30-year master tech, a senior master tech. He had a 6-liter excursion that was killing injectors. And what ended up happening is that the fuel tank had a bunch of algae buildup, and that was killing injectors. And he also had combustion gases getting in the injectors too. So, I mean, have you checked fuel pressure at all? Or, or have you done a balloon test or,
I don't know
anything
what
like that?
I don't know what they've been doing on it. I'm just kind of like in the background watching what's going on, because I'm working down there and they got something else going on down here. What do we got going on? I think there's some kind of fuel related issue on this 6.7 ambulance. I don't know if it was fuel. Oh, he's got all new. I think he's got all new coolant lines. I don't know. There was some kind of big failure with this one. I'm not sure.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but like Aaron tries to educate, the local emergency people where he's at and stuff like that. He has them on a schedule and stuff when they, like regen and stuff of this nature. We try to do the same thing with these guys, but they can't always be on top of it. And every once in a while they just idle and idle and idle and idle and idle. It's terrible for these things. And this is what happens.
Right. Yeah, that increases EGR use too. And then you end up finding a bunch of carbon buildup in the intake manifolds. Yeah, it's not fun. DPF gets plugged up too. You got to do more regens.
That's my problem. I'm idling mine so much when it snows. Ooh.
I think this one.
What year's your truck?
2020.
Oh, very nice.
We have another one that's odd. It just came in the other day. It only had like 16,000 miles on it. It's like a 20 or 21. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, it showed no coolant loss anywhere. The EGR cooler wasn't wet. Nothing was wet. There's nothing leaking anywhere. Pressure tested and fail anything. None of that stuff. But the tank was completely empty, like bone dry. And it was throwing I don't know if it was a coolant level code or some kind of code where it knew the coolant was low. And then when he started dumping coolant in it to try to see maybe pressure's pushing something close, and maybe I need to take the pressure off of it and just fill it naturally and see where it's leaking. And it took like almost 2 gallons of coolant or a gallon and a half of coolant, quit leaking. Hasn't been acting up at all. It's like, he said, I wonder if they completely missed this when they were doing the PDI and just never filled it up. And whatever residual was in there was enough to keep the light from triggering or whatever code it was, but now it's dropped a little bit lower.
Yeah, because it compares ECT and EOT, I believe, after a cold soak. I can't remember the code on top of my head, but it compares ECT and EOT. And then if they're not within each other after a cold soak, and it trips a code. That's an interesting one, but the fault hasn't returned at all.
Nothing. It was just literally like almost no coolant in the system at all. Weird. And I think what did they do? They ended up didn't they end up rerouting that to where that it was keeping the EGR cooler too cold, and on the newer ones they don't have that tank going to the EGR anymore?
Yeah, because I think they had they had both the secondary and the primary cooling systems cooling the EGR. And yeah, you're right. It was causing an overcooling problem, and that resulted in high carbon buildup. So they ended up, I think they ended up running it just either off of, I can't remember, it was either the secondary or the primary. If I double check in PTFs, so showing me, but yeah, one of the two
said
where
that reservoir is just for the intercooler now only. It doesn't go to anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's from what I understand. That's what he was saying as he was looking into it.
Interesting. Okay.
My truck died on February 14th at the border of Indiana and Michigan. The local Ford dealership told me it's going to be a month. Clean all fuel lines and replace high pressure pump. Oof.
Oh, that definite?
Oof.
Yeah, there's a lot of dealers are out that far.
Sounds like you need to call. Sounds like you need to call CRC.
Yeah.
Then talk with me.
It would come your way, Cody. It would.
Fred's talking about all the 6.4s at your shop. That's funny.
At whose shop?
At your shop.
All the 6.4s. I think we only have, ours, which doesn't have anything to cause issues. I won't say anymore. And then the one, I think he's right. Actually, we do have a couple. We do have a couple landscape 6.4s here.
Mm.
And then there was this one earlier, Aaron. Remember? I was telling you.
Oh yeah.
They were using it to. It's a 19. They were using it to take the garbage out at the end of the night. Fired it up, let it run a little bit, taking the garbage out. I pulled in. I hear this. And at first, I'm thinking to myself, man, something don't sound right about that truck. But I was in the middle of doing a tune-up for one of my moderators on my channel. So I'm like, it ain't nothing. Maybe it's just me hearing stuff. And then he pulls back in again, and my eyes are starting to water, and I'm starting to smell exhaust really bad. And I walk up to this thing, and I'm like, pop the hood, man. It's really loud coming from the upper end of this engine. And I put my hand up here, and I'm like, I feel exhaust coming right out of the center of this engine. It's nice and warm up here, but it's nice and cold over here. And I was like, we got a manifold leak. Here. I'll start it up. 61,000 miles, 2019.
So this guy was really short tripping, huh?
Does it have high idle hours too?
Ooh.
Yeah, you can hear it. Doesn't sound nice.
Ooh.
Mm.
Right out the top.
You can hear it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, not fun.
Wow.
I'm sure a relative compression test will confirm that too. Oh dear.
So I've got a question for you guys who have tremors. Fuel tank question. If Titan made a fuel tank that was an extended range tank, but wasn't any lower than the factory tank, would you want it? So like a 50-gallon tank that was the same height or a little bit higher than a factory tank. What do you think? Yes, no, maybe so.
My 450's got 48 gallons.
Yeah, that's a rear. Is that a rear mounted tank?
It's in the same spot.
It's
Side draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 3.
I forget that you have
if anybody needs any.
I
Pickup truck
forget
version,
that.
yeah.
I forget that Sean's got a pickup truck version and not a cab chassis.
Yeah.
So that 48 gallons is a sweet spot. So I think it's
And that's-
realistic.
It is probably going to be about 48 or maybe more.
It's a lot of range
I was
for
talking.
a trimmer for sure.
I was talking to.
yeah.
I was talking to a guy that I worked on his truck. Down on his truck, I did the S&S kit, and he's like, I talked to the engineers at Titan and was wondering if they would make this tank, but they don't know if there's enough interest to make it. Enough people that want to buy it.
And it's a tough one, man. It's how many trimmers?
Yeah.
I mean,
Because he
Not a lot
wants it
of-
for off-roading, because he says his stock tank is too low for off-roading,
oh,
because he does overlanding and stuff like that.
yeah.
Can't he solve
So it's
that
gonna
by
be-
jacking his truck up higher?
He doesn't want to go higher.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I mean, he's got to get in the bed to get into his rooftop tent. So I mean, that's just
oh,
make it higher
okay,
and go
well.
up in the air.
So they're gonna make one even higher than the factory. There probably is. I mean, there probably is some kind of market for it, I guess. But yeah, I mean, off-road guys.
I mean, that's where the tremor is supposed to be technically. It's not supposed to be a pavement pounder.
Yeah, they've
My
got some pretty
7.3
good
is a Freighter
clearance.
Princess.
They've got some pretty good clearance with those 35s for sure.
Just a quick question. Is there anything to watch for on a 17 to 19 6.7 Powerstroke, considering purchasing one in the future to replace my 3.5 EcoBoost that I currently have? 17 through 19s are pretty dang good, man. The one thing that I always, and I hate to say it, is they're always leaking oil. Get you a flashlight, maybe a piece of cardboard to lay on, and go out and check the truck out. Ford boss knows, we get into, an inspection mode, look the vehicle over, look for any leaks. If anything's leaking from up top, it's going to leak on the bottom. Upper oil pan, I'm doing one right now in a 650, 750. Upper oil pans are a big ticket item. I mean, if you got a way to check the front end, maybe you can watch
We'll
my
test
front
the
end
run start
videos.
and the PCM power relays. He's gonna want to wiggle test the run start and the PCM power relays because
Yeah,
the earlier 6.7 aluminum duties had issues with the BJB pins. They made a TSB for pins, and then eventually they just said just put a put a whole BJB in it.
whole
That
thing.
ultimately ended up being the fix. And then the early 17 and 18s, they'll get water. If you get water in the connectors in the rear, that can cause, because that's connected
Yep.
to the PCM power relay. That's all in parallel, so that can cause a short to voltage, and then it keeps the PCM awake, so you can't shut off the truck. That's one thing to look out for.
Are you talking about the trailer connector?
Yeah.
Those connectors Ford boss was showing
Uh,
the people at the meetup, down there by the trailer hitch and where
Yeah.
all
Oh
the
yeah.
green
Yeah.
corrosion is.
So that
not
goes
only
to the trailer. So would that be
Go ahead.
tailgate?
Yeah, just underneath, just the bed area in general. It could be any one of those connectors.
Oh, okay.
If I can pull it up on PTS, I can show you from the
I
PCM
beat
power
this-
relay in
I beat this
diagrams.
so much into people's heads on what you're talking about right now with those connectors back there. It's absolutely atrocious the amount of trucks, Super Duties that come in here with just so much water and junk inside those connectors back there that take down the MS network, the HS network, to do all
Yep.
kinds of stuff back there.
Yeah.
Get a Super Duty, then you won't have to worry about this. This is this is negative 27.9 degrees off. It won't even register on the chart. That's how this thing
Wow.
is running so bad that these phasers, one of these phasers has turned so far out of whack.
Oh God.
The chain or nothing's loose on this thing. And this guy has to worry about an aftermarket warranty now because we don't know if 21N03 is going to cover it because it was done at 31,000 miles before the updated phasers were out. And now it's got 61,000 miles on it, and there's an updated set of phasers that have the cap and stuff over it that seem to be less problematic. And this thing, obviously, it's not sludged up or anything. Looks real good inside here. And some of these that we get in here are it's like they've turned almost a third of where they're supposed to be at normal running. And the IDS can't even pick up how far you get a number, but you can't even see it on a chart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not fun.
It's at the bottom, way at the bottom.
Yeah.
Not fun.
One said negative 1.5 degrees. The other one said negative 27.9 degrees. And you can't even read them on the charts at all.
Not fun.
You don't need all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Just go back to a 462 valve. You'll be all right.
Hey, they're bulletproof.
Yeah.
They are
Right.
bulletproof.
They are. Keep the oil change. They'll be all right.
A big thing. Well, one guy had already talked about it earlier in the comments, but somebody had just texted me. A guy follows me, a firefighter, first responder out in the New York area. He just got a letter. His 21M01. This is extended coverage Ford has again for the 11 through 16 trucks that have a 20B, 20B9, and other various reductant heater assembly DTCs. You guys have a check engine light. Come on, if you have these DTCs, you guys can come to the dealer. If your VIN has this extended coverage on it, then we can replace the def guts at no charge for you. If you have already did the repair, whether you took it to the dealer and nobody knew, or it wasn't this extended coverage wasn't out, is like this just came out. Let's say you did this 6 months ago. You can bring your receipts in and your VIN and get reimbursed. I've just had 2 people take my information and go to their repairing dealer, submit for reimbursement, and they had no problem getting reimbursed. Whether or not you did the job yourself, do you want to pay for the part? If you don't want to pay for the part, bring your receipt, go back to the dealer, bring your VIN number, and you can get reimbursement. It's not like they're going to hand you $375, out of the cash register. That's not how it works. They have to submit it to Ford Motor Company, and more likely they're going to issue you a check somehow from the mothership. So if you have 21M01, come see us. Let us do it. Take about a half a day if we can program it. If we can prioritize and swing it accordingly, just plan on you being out your truck for a minute. But 21M01, def guts. If you don't have the extended coverage, I have a great video showing you how to do it if you have a cab chassis or the pickup, and those 2 videos are linked to the other 2 showing you how to get out of the idle only D-rate and speed limited to 50 miles an hour D-rate. There's 2 drive cycle procedures that you have to perform in order to get those out. You have to make sure your seatbelt's on, you have both legs crossed while driving, and your arms are crossed, and you have to have a bandana over your eyes while sipping out of a McDonald's cup, and hope that you can get the vehicle out of D-rate. Not just kidding. You don't have to do all that, but it can be a pain in the butt,
especially when it's cold.
Oh yeah. Well, Cody, we've had Canadian trucks. We've literally told them bring them in the dealership. Otherwise, your only other choice is you got to replace the PCM. It's the only other way to get it out of forced idle.
Yep. Bring her inside.
Yeah, pretty much. That's your only other option. Bring it inside, let it fall out.
No doubt.
It's got to be above 23.
The biggest thing is you actually got to make sure that the DEF is 100% thawed. If it is not, it will never come out.
Yeah, it's I think it's the same as ambient at 23 degrees, I think it was.
You can't have little chunks floating around in there either. It's got to be completely thawed out. So put a heater under it.
I think I could pull up the PowerPoint and see what it was.
When Aaron first was talking about this, we had a customer with a Super Duty on the rack down there at the end of the shop. And I went on there and I checked out this extended coverage. And when they updated the 11 through 16s, and he was about to come out of pocket all this money. And I was like, oh, wait. We just talked about this. Let's go on there real quick. And then sure enough, completely covered. Saved that guy all the money. Got it taken care of for him.
No doubt.
I got a little check engine light going.
On?
450.
Yep, I was right. It's 23. 23 degrees Fahrenheit. I was right.
Already got your
air
part?
temp and the reductant tank temp.
Which one was mine? Some kind of a line?
Yeah, I already got your def line and your TCU ordered, which is back ordered. I had to do an online 1878 form, which indicated to me that the part I ordered was on back order.
When you say TCU, you talking about that other thing?
Yeah, the one that bricked up.
Oh yeah.
Easy. They're easy
You
to brick.
know what I'm talking about. Ford Boss knows what I'm talking about. Them
Oh, yeah.
things brick up, and you could have the computer screen go blank because you didn't touch it for 5 minutes, and the screensaver kicked on, and the thing will brick up.
Oh my
I
god.
had
That's
where
why.
you
Yeah,
remember
you gotta
where
make sure you gotta have the battery on the charger too while you're doing it.
that's exactly what I was just going to say, because I was actually currently talking to Hotline and they kind of saved me on that when they pulled out a get out of jail free card for me, because I was like, dude, I was doing all these updates that Ford says on these special vehicles the magazine companies reviewing. They send them in here and they say update everything in the vehicle. And I update all the modules in the vehicle. No, I'm getting that confused. That was not it. It was a customer's vehicle. And there was a bunch of connectors unplugged from the factory that were just kind of not latched. And eventually they worked themselves loose and they were setting an airbag light. It was just enough on 1 or 2 pins in the center console. And I'm trying to update all this stuff. And I'm like, I got 11.5 volts. I'm fine. It's almost finished.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oof.
And the hotline guy was like, no. You have to have like 12.5 volts or above at all times on those TCUs, because if you're trying to program them, you will brick them. And sure enough, I bricked it, and they were nice enough to cover it. And he said, just go ahead and put a TCU in it. We understand. Get it programmed. And it took like 6.5 hours to program.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cole,
That's what happened
thanks,
to
pal.
us. We were programming it, but then we had somewhere to go. And yeah.
Oof. Colt's
So-
got a good question. We appreciate you for your help there, bud. Should I replace my CP4 pump on my 2019 with 85K just as preventative maintenance? Or is there a suggested time when it should be changed? Thanks. I can't say yes. I know what you hear. I know what you may read about the CP4. I mean,
A
I
lot
have
of it
one in
comes down to
my
fuel
vehicle.
quality.
Right. I have
It's
one
all
in
fuel.
mine. It really comes down to fuel, like so much so that I am on currently my 67th tank of fuel. I just hit 20,000. It's been almost 2 years. 67th tank. Every tank, I mean every tank, has had a fuel conditioner, a fuel additive. In the very beginning, I was running the Motorcraft. I got done with the Motorcraft. I'm done with the Motorcraft. I got Hot Shots, Amsoil. I
Hot
go
Shots
back and
makes some
forth
good
between
stuff.
them. There's some other great products out there that help the health, the lubrication of the CP4. So to say, should you replace it 85K? No, brother, I
If
wouldn't.
it ain't broke, don't touch it.
I have
So
a
then
truck
how do you
that
address this then, for the people that say, well, the manual says don't put additives in it. The manual says don't do this. The manual says don't do that.
Don't
I
tell.
don't know.
When you
Does
bring
the
it in,
manual
don't tell
say
them you
that?
put in additives.
like
Don't
if
say nothing about it.
if you do a number two, you wipe your booty.
Yeah,
If you do a number two, you wipe your booty.
right.
If you drive a diesel, you're dumping stuff in your tank.
Yeah.
You got a diesel. It's diesel is diesel. Diesels have been around. This isn't changed. It's the same diesel's diesel.
Yeah.
You add it, it's still going to want to gel in the winter when it gets cold. It's still going to want to get cloudy. It's still going to want to attract water. It's just what it does.
Yeah.
So it is so important to be up on your fuel health. Colt, good question. I appreciate that. That's probably a lot of people might wonder that, like, am I going to have to just do it just to do it?
I
No.
would run it.
They make
I
a
would-
they make a product. There's an aftermarket product where you can put it on the return line, and if your CP4 pump tears apart and dumps metal debris, instead of ending up in your fuel system, it goes to your tank. I would say that's a worthwhile product. Arizona trucks, I've seen plenty of those trucks where the fuel quality is pretty bad. So yeah, I agree with Aaron. Running fuel additives is a good idea. I
Mhm.
talked to this one technician actually when I went to classes in Wixom, and he advised his customers to use a quart of ATF, kind of like an old 7.3 thing. But it was we talked about it. What it's doing, it's adding lubricity to the fuel, because ultimately diesel fuel lubricates a high pressure fuel pump. So it's really important you have your lubricity. I told him it's not a bad idea. Just don't tell warranty about that, because technically it'd be considered fuel contamination. So be on the hush hush about that. But I don't see a problem with that.
The technician's not going to pick that up anyway. The tech's not going to pick up an additive. What he's going to see is he's going to see failure, and that's what we have. That's what we have to report on. We're not going to report on additive, and we want you to run it. There's a reason why the old CP3 pumps now, when they go out, what does it say right in the box when you pull it out? Run an additive in the fuel. It says right on the paperwork, because it works. And that's the same thing with this. An additive works. It's a wetter is what it's called. And a lot of people don't understand what a wetter means. It takes that fuel that's already lubricating the pump and it makes it even more, like you said, it's a fuel lubricant, and it actually helps with the moving parts move even better, as well as disperse, help get rid of different, like fuel is an attractant to moisture in general. So I tell people run hot shot. That's why I tell them all the time now. Guys come in here, I say, dump some hot shot in it.
Yep. Most stuff. I just put it in the comments. Both DS and I have hot shot promo codes for you guys if you want to save, $5-10 on your order.
Stack
if you're, we're hearing that you can get double the fun, double the pleasure with double makeup.
Huge shout out to them too, because when you first started talking about them, they were out there, but now they're everywhere. Hot shot is like on every shelf, everywhere, any retail store. You can find it almost all over the place now. I'd rather get it delivered to the house. It's convenient for me, but they have really made a name for themselves in the diesel community. And now they have it for I think gasoline applications and everything now.
Yep.
Yeah, they got some interesting products. One of my favorites is definitely their 5W40 FR3.
Yeah.
PAO, full synthetic oil.
One of my customers just ordered that.
I want to run this, but I haven't run it. It was sent to me by one of my subscribers, and I don't know very much about it, but it's Redline 5W30.
Okay.
Ester-based high-performance lubricant with extra ZDP for wear control.
I don't know what. What? I mean, I run Lucas oil with my on my 7.3, and when I do my oil changes, I run 10W30 Motorcraft, and then I use the Lucas oil product, and she likes it.
The stabilizer?
Mm-hmm.
The stabilizer is good for sticking to parts, and I try to educate people on this stuff all the time when I talk about it. It sticks to parts and it makes things move easier, but people also have to understand that unless you're running something like your 7.3 that has a lot of oil in it, you're not dispersing that much additive. Now, if you're down to something that's like a 5-quart system and you're replacing 20% of that with a giant quart of Lucas, it's taken. I tell what kind of additive is lost there. Yeah, you might be lubricating moving parts better and having it stick to moving parts better, but unless you have some kind of failure going on and you have a small system, I don't know that I would necessarily be running it, or half of it maybe.
I don't think it. Yeah, I agree with you on like the little gasser. I wouldn't, but I remember when I interned as a diesel tech, I remember in the diesel shop on those big rigs, they ran that Lucas oil stuff, and their bearings. Yeah, the bearings were in great shape at 800K. I would argue it's more a product for diesels.
Yeah.
I wouldn't run it on a gasser. Yeah.
I'm running Motorcraft 1540 with hot shots.
Oh,
nice.
Hot shot stiction in the stiction.
It's almost greenish looking. Looks like slime, color slime, but it's not. It's oil. Viscosity.
I need to get another bottle of it.
Longevity.
So what is it like? So what's the difference when you put it in? Is it like smoother with the stiction?
I don't know. I didn't notice much of a difference.
Yeah, your OBS runs pretty good though.
My truck runs good. I mean, I change the oil every 3K, so
Oh, really? I go
Yeah.
every 5 on mine.
I don't 3K. It's blacker than black and it's getting loud. So
Fair enough. Well, I've noticed by the end of 5K, I'm starting to get aeration, and then it pops 12, 11. So yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I don't know. I mean, Chad told me I'd be fine at 5K. I've been running. I mean, it should, other than the aeration at the very end of 5K, I don't have any problems running 5K oil changes on mine.
truck's been getting oil changes at 3K for 551,000 miles.
Damn.
I'm just gonna continue doing it. And there's no reason to change at this point.
This one here is the one we were bringing up earlier. What is this? Coyote.
Oh,
This
is
is
that the one that needs a lawn block?
Yeah, this is it's an 18. It's already had the TSB done, the PCM reprogram for the D-cell fuel event where it blurps the throttle open, stops so much intake manifold vacuum, so it's not pulling past valve seals and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's already been done because of the fuel consumption before, or the oil consumption before, and now it's back in again. And I noticed when I start this thing, it sounds like marbles in the lower end sometimes. Once it starts to warm up, it's not your typical Coyote barbecue tick, kind of thing going on. That's a characteristic of these engines. It's worse than that. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go over here and pull this dipstick. Pull this dipstick real quick, and it is barely on the tip of this thing.
Oh.
That's your 2-quart mark right there that they updated the dipstick to. And then now you're all the way down here. I mean, you're 3.5, 4 quarts low on oil.
I have a feeling if you cut open the oil filter, you would find bearing material.
Yeah. So it's consuming oil really quick. It's only has 5,000 miles on it, and it's already almost 4 quarts low.
Oh, geez. Not good.
Whoops.
Yeah. And it has a starter here. Every once in a while, it'll pop a PO6E9 starter performance code. And she said, I'll just go up to fuel up. And I have a disabled daughter that I need some room for her. And it's comfortable driving a truck instead of a car. Mm-hmm. And we went out of town, went to go fuel up, go to start the vehicle up after fueling up, and just Christmas trees all over, Christmas lights all over the dash. I have to let it sit for a couple hours and then it'll fire up. I'm thinking to myself, well, what do we have going on here? I looked everywhere. I couldn't find anything. I get up underneath the starter and I take my mirror and I look up at that braided line. I was talking to Aaron about this, that goes from the starter solenoid into the housing, and it's just nothing but cotton candy and falling apart. And I was like, oh, yep, you're getting a starter. So that may be some of what's going on for sure. So we got to put a starter in it, but now I'm hesitant to put a starter in it if I'm going to have to put a long block in it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So she didn't even go in there.
F-150, unfortunately.
She didn't even go in there with the concern of the engine possibly needing to be replaced. Just starter issues.
It's the something she brought up to our attention the first time she came in. And I noticed in the service history that it was done before. And now it's back again, and it's loud. The lower end of the engine is extremely marbly, almost like metal marbles just bouncing around sometimes. And I was like, this doesn't sound right. Something doesn't sound right here. Let me check the oil in this thing while it's here, because she already came in for the update. And I was like, oh, you came in for a oil change as well while it's here. And it's more than an oil change.
I wonder.
How do you break that news to him? Well, I know you came in for an oil change.
You could. What do you think? Is there something in the filter? Like we could look in the
there
filter?
May be. Whenever I get, I did the initial video on looking at it and diagnosing it and stuff. So whenever I get around to getting the starter in it tomorrow, because I got to put a starter in, she needs it until we can get approval on the next step. So I'm going to put the starter in it. I have to. I'm going to go ahead and change the oil and stuff in it. Get the engine coming or whatever needs to come. I can't get an engine for almost 3 months. We called the manufacturer today because they build it based on need. So we called AER up today and was like, hey, look, we're looking at possibly a long block. What is it going to take for us to get a long block? And they said, we'll build it on request. And there's so many people ahead of you right now. We don't want to call it on back order, but it's literally going to be the end of May before we can even get you one.
Hold on. See if you can get a, what the hell is it called? A gaseous prep engine.
Gases?
The gaseous prep engines, the one that are made for propane.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same engine. They just got different valves and seats.
Interesting. Yeah,
Do
I mean,
it.
it can run. It runs fine.
If you can't get a regular one in a timely manner, you can do that.
Yeah,
And it'll be completely fine with the application.
That's what we've been doing in VOR when we couldn't get 5 liters.
It would just have the ability to technically run propane if you want it.
Yes.
That's like when you order the propane prep from the package, you don't get propane.
You don't get the propane. Yeah. They got to upfit it, so it should still work. Get the gaseous prep engine.
Damn.
Pro tip.
I didn't know you could even do that. Well,
Pro tip.
How do you write that up though? I mean, when they look at it, are they going to know the difference?
Can't get normal engine in timely manner. Gaseous prep package, same engine, minus valves.
Next level up.
Next
level.
Would that be considered next level, Cody?
You cannot really, but you can't get a complete. So what are you going to do? Sit there and wait, or are you going to get an engine that will work?
Might as well, yeah. I know in trans, because we got some transmissions on back order, they've been saying, hey, we can get all the parts and we can just do an overhaul. And we're like, yeah, just do that. We've been, I guess, a reverse next level, but that's what we've been doing in trans to just get customers out of the dealership. Unfortunately, COVID just completely messed up our parts situation. It's just horrible.
Well, are they going to say, hey, well, that doesn't match your VIN. You can't do that.
For
that engine, you can't get the gas engine.
Natural
gas engine that you're VIN.
I mean, if you can't get the regular engine for 3 or 6 months or whatever it is, what are you going to do? Customers sit there without a vehicle for that long, or put a gaseous prep engine in it? That's basically the same.
Yeah.
It's at this point, it's customer
satisfaction.
Customer satisfaction. Get it done, get it fixed, get it out.
Well, will they have to go through you at VOR? Because I don't see warranty just letting the dealership do it. I think they would want hotline involved.
I mean, you can ask hotline about it.
True.
If you wanted, but I mean, if the customer gets really mad, they can call CRC.
True. And then the CRC is going to throw them your way anyway.
Throw it right into VOR.
Yeah.
You see the diag on this? I went out, I opened hotline and I didn't put anything through. And I looked at all the technicians that have been asking about these Coyotes that have been consuming oil. Yeah. There's like a whole freaking list of them. And the top guy was like the most helpful. And when I was looking at diag is exactly what I did. They said, get the vehicle up to operating temperature, shut the vehicle off, let it go through a cold soak, pull the plugs out, look at the top of the pistons. Is there oil on the pistons? Yes, there is a little bit of oil on the pistons. Now spin the engine over 2 times, let the valves come down and try to get a bore scope image of the valves. Is there oil on the valves? Yes. Replace valve seals. Okay. But we have technicians coming back saying 2 months later, after all that work, now we're going back in and ripping heads off to replace other valve seals.
Yeah, because I'm involved with the diesel and trans teams, so I can't really speak to this. But that's rather interesting. Cody, can you comment on that at all?
I never say valve seals. I say put heads on it.
No, well, that's what a lot of the techs said. Wouldn't it make more sense for me to just get a set of heads and put on here instead of replacing everything, more labor and everything else? It's just, I have to break the head down, put valve seals and stuff in it. Good luck if you have the tool that you're supposed to use. And one guy was like, we ain't got the tool for that. What am I supposed to do? Well, you need to order it.
Put a head on it.
Well, then they try to go get the tool for it. And they're like, yeah, we can't get the tool for 2 months either because the supplier doesn't even have it. It's like a back order on the tool. And then they were like, okay, just put an engine in it. That's what they told them. I was reading the note. Like, just put an engine in it.
Okay. Great for
the valve seal in. It's not a simple task.
In all honesty, I'd rather put heads on it. Rather tell somebody to put heads on it than put seals in it.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion because you're going to be repair. It's a more robust repair and it's less likely to fail than putting a valve seal in it. Because
Yeah,
if you put a valve seal in it, you're taking springs out, you're taking keepers out, and you're starting to mess with stuff that is more liability. In my
Exactly,
opinion,
yeah.
more risk.
Because all that stuff's got to be put in the same spot. Like the valve's got to go back in that spot where it came.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot of messing around. And then what is the seal made out of? Is it like a bronze seal or something?
No.
A guide? Well, that would be the guide. What's the seal?
But I mean, it could be the guide too. So it's like, do you take the risk of putting a seal in it and it still do the same thing?
Right.
So
Right,
might as well put a head in it.
Yeah, you must.
That's my personal outlook on that. I'd rather put heads on it for that.
Doing seals would be so tedious, man. Oof.
That way you replace the valve springs, the valves.
Yeah,
everything.
last thing you want, like this guy just said, is the valve smacking the pistons.
Yep.
That's exactly what you want.
So that's just the way I feel about it. Put heads on it.
Did you see my video on the Transit where the keyway was ate up on that 3.7 Transit?
I did see you pull it out. That's about all I've seen of it.
I have not.
I've been in class this week, so.
Yeah, there was 115,000 miles on it. Chain was slapping. It was like 11 or 12 or 10 or 11 ribs out on the tensioner. And the sprocket, you could take the sprocket and go like this. Back on it. I was like, okay, we have a problem here. Let's pull it out. Let's replace well, luckily the guy came in when he did, or he would have been done. Motor time, or engine for the purists out there.
Wow.
I'm not talking about.
That's what I'm in class for. Motors.
I'm not talking about F-150s, but in the Power Strokes, I mean the Super Duties and the Power Strokes and the Super Duties. I'm so glad we don't have to worry about no VCT, no camshafts, no chains, no. Oh my goodness. Y'all EcoBoost dudes can have that stuff.
Well, high mileage 6.7.3s can have the thrust bearing can get worn out, or the cam gear can walk away. And then we've seen on some 6.7s, that's not to say this is common, but we have seen where the cranks, the crank gear spins on the crank because they press it on the crankshaft and then it spins, and yeah, then your timing's off. And sometimes it's not enough where it's not enough where you don't have any noticeable symptoms. You're just popping a code, but yeah, no, your timing's off. It's just like, I think the DTC set for it's like 15 degrees or whatever it was.
6.
I got double check.
116 or something.
Oh, was it 6?
What's it?
It's like 6 degrees. It's not much.
Oh, 6 degrees. Okay.
It's P0016.
Yeah, I've seen that happen where it killed the pump too, the high pressure fuel pump.
The high pressure fuel pump caused it.
Oh, yep. See that in that scenario
cracks.
too. Yep.
I've seen tuned trucks do it as well.
Really?
Yeah.
High horsepower
Usually
tunes.
trucks are pretty robust.
High horsepower tunes will spin the crank gear.
Like,
if
what are we
it's too
talking?
hot.
If that
it's
crank
too
gear
hot.
spun,
Like, how much horse you
And-
talking?
if that crank gear spun, situation that happened to me before, crank timing or crank gear, same situation, except we're just talking about timing.
Mhm.
It was an international Max Force 13, and it was like 2014-ish. When I was working on the heavy duty stuff at the international dealer,
Oh, nice.
they had a flex plate issue where the timing peg, where it would pick up one and then it would pick up the next, and that's how it knew it was at top dead center, and that's how it kept its timing in sync. Well, one of them was just manufactured a 1/4 inch too far away, and it was picking up a missed time, or the timing mark wasn't correct, and it was thinking it was an overfueling event.
Oh,
So
wow.
the next step with their hotline would have been pull turbo, check for oil, pull injectors, do all this stuff. You throw thousands of dollars at it because they didn't know what the problem was at first. And then I kept getting thrown. I was one of the original techs that was on the hotline case to figure out what was going on with these trucks. And there's a lot of article write-ups from me. There's even one of my subscribers that remembers working with me while I was on the hotline team working on these trucks back in the day. And what ended up happening is we found that mismachined mark in the flywheel, and it was thinking that it was overfueling, and it was like a foreign source of fuel getting in there, and the engine was speeding up real quick. Couldn't that gear, if it slipped or turned a certain way, have a similar effect of the computer thinking that?
I have personally never seen it. What I do know how the DTC's tripped, it's looking at top dead center at the cam gear and the or not the cam or the camshaft position sensor and the crankshaft position sensor, and then it compares TDC for both PIDs, and if one's off the other by, I think it was like what Cody said, 6 degrees, trips a code. So that's how it works. I haven't seen anything where it set any fueling strategies like that or anything like that. Have you, Cody, at all?
I've got some pictures of it, how to tell if it's good or bad.
If when you remove the vacuum pump to check your timing.
No, I actually got a picture of the crankshaft. You you time the pump like you would normally do, like timing the engine, and then you check your bolts at the crankshaft. The top bolt should be 12 o'clock. If it's off to the side, either way, it's out of time.
Oh, wow. That's good to know.
Fred just commented. He wanted me to go way back up to his FDRS question. Ford boss probably has had this happen. He can confirm that with me too, because I know I've had it happen. FDRS shows an update available. You do it, go back to the main menu, and some shows updates and 2 other modules still show that it needs to be updated.
Yep. It's all right. It's updated. It doesn't. So I've been doing a lot of these now for the magazine company. They're sending these brand new vehicles that they're trying out over to the dealer, and they like using me because I have the most experience dealing with these problematic issues. And I'll go through and there'll be like 6 modules out of date. And I'll go through and I'll update all the modules that the SW update says in FDRS need to be updated. Now, the audio control module in the APIM is an absolute nightmare. Sometimes it says it fails. You go to stick the thumbstick in, it'll say it fails. Then you try it again, walk away, come back for a little bit, and all of a sudden it verifies all the information and it passes. It's an absolute nightmare. Now, one module that I see a common issue with over and over again, and I keep writing it in my story, hoping that somebody in the engineering team or whoever reviews it will pick it up, is there are specific modules that you will update and it will say successful, and you go back and it still shows it's there ready to update, and it never drops out of the queue, and you can do it again and again and it'll say update, but it never drops out of the queue. The modules update. It's some kind of failure in the FDRS system where that module doesn't drop out of the queue and it still says there's an update available.
And you said you contacted MogProg on it?
I haven't went any further than just keeping it in my ROs, because I know they get pulled for evaluation sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
But I need to actually get a hold of somebody that can actually look at that and say, yeah, obviously this is an issue. We see that you've updated the ABS module and it's still not dropping out. It is updated, but it's still there. Audio control module, same thing. Everything goes through sometimes and it's still there.
Yeah, I would set a contact up to the module programming team. That's up their alley. Unfortunately, I'm not too familiar with module programming.
Knox module has been having major problems lately, so
I've heard that we've been having to replace those.
Well, some of them aren't even installed in trucks right now.
Really?
Coming off the factory line.
Can we even get them?
No, we cannot.
Oh,
they're on intergalactic back order.
Intergalactic.
Oh God, that's not fun.
Intergalactic.
No. I've been trying to get a Knox 12, the alpha version of it, and there are none to be had anywhere.
Does that have to, because are they just not making them because of the semiconductor chip crisis?
Probably.
Oh geez. Oh, why do they ever? I should have never told that factory to stop making semiconductor chips. It just had been having all kinds of lovely effects on the economy.
I'm just going to say this to Fred also. The Knox module is a plug and play module. You shouldn't be updating it if you're just installing it. It should only be updated through a PCM reprogram. And right now with FDRS, they are not reprogramming the Knox 12. Nope. There was a message about that.
Intergalactic, straight up.
I did heated seats today. That was fun. Ripping the seats apart and taking all the old sticky pad off of there, trying to use a heat gun that didn't work worth a damn. So I had to slowly rip them off because the heat gun was making it worse. Yeah, that was lovely.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it doesn't pay enough for how long it takes.
After aftermarket warranty, so I gave them every bit of what I had into it.
Oh, there you go.
And remember, I don't know if you know or not, but Illinois is like California now. 1.5 times the labor rate if it's a recall, or if it's if it has a labor op. So,
yep. Oh, I didn't know you were based out of Illinois. I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
I'm sorry too.
I moved out. I moved out of Illinois when I was right out of college. Yeah, right out of college. I was 21 when I moved out. I haven't been back since. No,
we've been getting taken care of very, very good for labor times and stuff in Illinois now. So we're pretty happy with that. No more complaints on our end.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. The problem is the other manufacturers are not coming on board. Ford pretty much came out and said, look, we'll do whatever it takes to make people happy. If that's the law in your state now, we're going to hook you guys up.
Yeah.
But when you start looking at Chrysler products and Honda and everybody else now, they don't want to budge. A lot of them are fighting, saying, no, we're not doing it. Well, then there'll be another lawsuit and you'll have to pay. We'll keep paying our technicians 1.5 because that's what the law states now. But when we take you to court 6 months from now, it's going to be a lot of money out of your pocket.
Right. No, they've been, because I got all the surveys back about how technicians were upset about pay. So upper managers like, okay, we got to do something because we got a technician crisis. We can't keep people at dealerships. So I'm really glad that they listened and actually did something about it. So it's a good thing that they did that.
I think they're doing that technician appreciation now. They're doing that deal where they're paying the technicians based on their service with the dealership and staying a certified technician. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're also pay you to go take classes now too, which is cool. Yeah, they're really trying to. I think they really are trying hard to make up for how it used to be, and they've recognized that they're behind. Because I know that Toyota was service wise, they're way ahead of us. So we got to catch up with them. We got to do things better to retain people, make service information better. And I think upper management's fine going in a good step forward now to get that all sorted out and get everybody taken care of. So especially technicians, in my opinion, the most important people to Ford Motor Company, and you're not even, we don't even, you work for a franchise, so and you guys play a very critical role because at the end of the day, you're fixing all our vehicles and getting everybody back in roll. I mean, we have to take care of you guys, and I'm glad that they finally did that.
Yep,
it's been hard. I think a lot of guys have been burned out and have left this industry and the dealer scene because they got tired of dealing with those, everyday struggles that maybe they didn't know how to handle. And, ultimately our workforce suffers. Those are people who have talent that aren't able to pass, that stuff along.
I mean, there's a reason why I'm no longer there.
Yeah.
Yep. What else we got here? We had somebody who came in who did not get their 21B31 customer satisfaction program for their 10R140 done, and it let loose. The part they want you to replace in that trans broke and ruined the case, and the filter looked very bad. I should have took a picture of it, but it
that the 21B03, that the I'm trying to read. Is that the 10R140 number 1 ring gear?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, okay. So they had that recall and now you said that the case broke.
No, the case didn't break, but it ground. There was so much debris that it got in between the case and the drum for wherever C, D, E, F clutch sit in, and it
Oh, the
ground
CDF
away.
cylinder. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, the good news is the recall will cover all of that. So what the dealer has to do, they just have to claim that the damage from the number one ring gear caused all that, and then the recall is supposed to cover that. And then it depends on whether or not the vehicle is under powertrain warranty if they have to contact the SSC. I gotta go back to the it should that should all be labeled out in the dealer bulletin where it explains all that, because for the casual parts it should be covered by the recall. So anything else gets damaged, the recall should cover it. The dealership may have to contact the SSC if it's out of powertrain warranty, but that's yeah, it just depends on what coverage we're dealing with.
What do we always say?
Oh,
Write a good story. Write
Yeah.
a good story, and it'll most.
Cody's showing you guys. If you guys go to my employer, Bill Brown Ford, on Facebook, I completely forgot about this. Their Facebook, Bill Brown Ford, I was featured for this technician for the week. So you guys can show their page some love and check out the little synopsis
You were
about
featured? You?
I was featured, my friend.
All right, everybody in the comment, everybody in the comment section, hands. I need to see hands in the comment section.
We were featured. It was cool. They just she asked me a couple questions and you know, how long I've been at the dealer and so forth. But yeah,
Our boy coming through.
coming through. I need to come through. I need to have you guys come through and we need to have another meetup. I know it was back in November. It was kind of cold. You know, we didn't get to hang outside. I know it's going to be, you know, this COVID stuff has kind of subsiding, and our Bane costume coverings are being laxed. So I want to get you know, together with you guys, maybe more. I want to get all the trucks. I want to have as many power strokes of our community that we have made all together. I think
When are you
I think the
gonna do
last
this?
when we can all be outside and take advantage of 60, 70 plus degree weather.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? It was trying to get it done before the end of the year, and
It was cold.
it was cold, and
I just left.
he just left, and
He cheated on us.
oh man.
You know, the
I
trans.
remember you had a thing going on Woodward Avenue, and I couldn't come through because I had to do the harness on my truck.
I didn't wind up doing that. That was too fast. I just it was hard to plan because I didn't know where I was gonna do it, if I had to rent a hall, and then I had an idea of doing it at work, and then everybody came through. It was really cool. Everybody came at work. A couple guys pulled their trucks in, and Ford Boston was there, and we were interacting with everybody. You know, you had like 4 or 5 guys around you. Guys were laying on the ground looking at the connectors. We had food, pizza.
It was great. It was great, man. It was absolutely
cool.
great.
It was cool. I enjoyed it. We were there for, I don't know how long we were there for, 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, we were there for a while. It was nice.
It wasn't too bad. So
A huge shout out to your dealership too, man, for providing
Yeah.
the food and stuff like that. It was just awesome, man. It was
yeah,
awesome.
it was really cool to have had that. You know, the shop setting is, like, you know, we go to work every day. You know, our work is in the shop, like where Ford Boss Me is right now. He's in the shop. Like it is just so natural to be in the shop, and you got stuff broken down, and you got tools, and you got these smells and grease, and this. It's just the environment we like being in. Like I told my wife, like I'm in the garage, like I'm not trying to be mean, but like you could put a mattress here on the ground, and I go outside, take a leak. Like I could literally be in the garage. Like I would be content being in the garage. It's just the setting we're in. I don't know. I like it. I like being.
Before I forget, Aaron, you were talking about the transmission stuff. There's also some of our followers that have their wives and their significant others or whatever in other vehicles. And I know we don't always talk about Super Duties, but we try to keep the focus there. Cody, I don't know if all of you are familiar with the 10R60 and the 10R80 MHC.
Yeah. What about it?
So they have that TSB out that's talking about a hard downshift from 7.6, the front APAC
with the A clutch snap ring.
Yeah, but we had one come in here with different characteristics recently, and it was hard shifting almost every gear and delayed shifting almost every gear. It wasn't just a 7.6 deal like I could pinpoint before. This one was almost affecting all the gears, and we didn't know if it would have.
Isn't there a message for that?
Yeah, because
right?
the
just
TSB
came up.
is specific for the 7.6 downshift.
There's a whole message.
Yeah.
There was just the 7.6 downshift at the time, and that's the only one we knew about. So we go to tearing into the transmission, pull the front section out of it, and literally that was the only thing that was wrong with it was that front, what do they call it? The front APAC section or the front A section.
Yeah, it's in the front support, I believe, in the snap. Yeah, the A clutch is snap. I got to look back at
the snap ring. The snap ring comes out of the groove and it unsnaps, and it was affecting every shift. It wasn't even just 7.6 now.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, then again, let me go back. Let me go into specific. Let me pull up an F-150 because we
got a transmission guy
for a few years.
We got a good transmission guy in the chat right now. Sean Powers. He can answer your question.
Oh, Sean Powers knows everything. Yeah.
There is also a SSM 50529 from Monday about harsh shifting and delay engagement.
The clutch snap ring will make you kiss the steering wheel.
Yeah, so I'm in 30701A specifications. The A clutch is held from first gear till 6, so it's using quite a bit of gears.
So that would make sense then.
Yeah, it's also held in park, reverse, and neutral. So yeah, I guess it makes more sense why. I mean, still it doesn't. I mean, you also said it was affecting literally all the gears like 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th as well. What did you say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it wasn't just the 7.6 is what I'm saying. We were feeling it like just driving, 50, 55 mile an hour, coming down from 50, 55 mile an hour, going up. When I had my first one come in, it was all kinds of weird shifting going on. And I did that, what is that, the clutch relearn where you got to take the wheels off the ground and then you got to run it through the clean out procedure, the break-in procedure. And then I went out, I cleared the adaptive strategies. I started driving it. All the other misshifting cleared up completely. It wasn't even misshifting in it, but the 7.6 was still there. And I was like, So now I can pinpoint exactly what's maybe there was some kind of hiccup where other gears were getting affected by it. And then 7.6 was very, very, very apparent because it was the only downshift that was an issue. And I was like, obviously this SSM directly applies to what I'm dealing with right now. But then more came in and we're starting to see that it affects more than just the 7.6 downshift. So I haven't read the newer messages. I try to stay on that every day, but lately it's been so crazy that I'm not on there scouring the messages.
Yeah, I've been at school, so messages have been not being scoured by me. So sorry, guys.
No, I get unfortunately, I get preoccupied by the queue. I gotta get more caught up with messages as well.
I look at them first thing in the morning.
He was mad at me because I put diesel in the blue cap. I thought it was an auxiliary tank. Are you for real, or are you pulling my leg, man?
Oof.
I don't
we
even
need
know
a
what to
def
say.
tank and everything.
Well, how did you get it in the cap?
Right,
With
you
like
you
a
couldn't even put
fill,
that in
not from
there.
a pump. So you might have had a
Ah,
I don't know.
have
Maybe
one,
just
but
open it up and
a
had
5-gallon.
the
Let me go get my funnel.
the thing right here. I don't know.
maybe he had a container, like a diesel.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe
Oof,
that-
everything
maybe that-
from the def injector to the tank's gotta go now.
Bye
Oof.
bye. Go bye bye.
I mean, it
That's
would
for
make
no
a great
good.
flamethrower.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, when you go to
Yeah.
when you go into regen, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
You guys got to look. I'm sure it's on YouTube floating around. I remember back in 08 when the 6.4s came out. You got to see the 6.4 shooting flames out the tailpipe. It was at a dealer. I think it had like a bad fuel knock or something, and that you could hear it dun 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 dun. And somebody was sitting in the truck and
Quick
Wow.
boss man, you see what Sean said?
No.
Oh,
Ah,
deleted it.
What? Who said?
Sean,
What did he say?
not DS, Sean.
yeah.
I don't even remember what it said. He deleted it. Like, damn.
Oh. Come
Yeah.
on, say it. Say it again. Say it again.
I mean,
I was
Sean
gonna
Powers
copy it.
might.
SNS, big SNS is something every 6.7 should have on their truck. SNS has just released or is in the process of releasing. Check out their Facebook page. You guys can check it out, take a look of it, and see their new filter using a Donaldson spin-on filter for the return style. Having a hard time getting those Raycor Parker filters for that return side filter. So they have a different setup. Looks different. Doesn't have the fuel bowl. But if you guys are looking for the replacement filters, I have sent multiple people up to AccurateDiesel.com. Ask for Tim. He is over here in Michigan, the Grand Rapids area over here. And he has the SNS kits. He has the replacement filters and a lot of other stuff for your diesel needs. So you might want to check them out. Yeah.
Man,
You
you've
won't-
gotten like 3 comments on your post already.
Oh yeah, I haven't checked.
On your work post.
Oh really? Oh wow. See, I
So
don't get links to that.
So Ford Asset Tech is saying he said something about that snap ring. And I have seen that the Trans Tech over here has pulled the valve body and stuff down. And you can look up through the openings in that transmission and you can actually see if that pack has started to come apart. So you'll get an idea.
Really? So when
Yeah.
you take out the main control, you can actually see.
Yeah. You can actually
Wow.
see a glimpse of that area if it's actually in tight or if it has already started to come apart. You'll get an idea on whether or not just by pulling the main control.
That's a neat trick. I'll keep that in mind for my contacts.
Give it the tricks. Tricks of the
The
trade.
trans guy, he
Tricks
had
of
it
the
out. He had it sitting upside down on bell housing up, and he had the main control off of it. And he was like, "Look right there. You don't even have to pull the front pump out of it. Look at that.
Wow.
You can see that it's not."
That's good to know. If we could get some pictures, that would be really cool. That way we can I don't know, if we could get some pictures, you could probably use them for
Yeah.
like
Next time he
TSV or
comes
something.
in and there's something like that, and he pulls it apart, and I remember I'll go over there and try to snap some pictures and put it in the community.
That would be great. Yeah. Hey, Aaron,
Yes,
I gotta
sir.
take off here.
Yeah,
Is that all
brother.
right, buddy?
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna get ending it here too.
Oh, okay.
If you guys got any questions about the 21 MO1, I've had a bunch of emails regarding it. If I can try to point you in the right direction to get you reimbursed for, repair that you've already did or you've made yourself, or if you paid for it at another shop or what have you, shoot me an email and I'll try to get you straightened out. If you are in the Chicago area, I've already directed somebody to check out Ford Boss. He is at Dundee Ford, and if you're in the central area, he might be able to assist you with your Ford dilemmas. Make sure to stop by Friday. We got another great video for you guys. And DS, hey, thanks for staying up, buddy.
At least he wasn't on the couch under the blanket.
I'm about to lay down. So
we'll catch you guys all next time, man. Thanks for hanging out. Daddy Diesel.
Thanks for having